In this video, I head to my local woods in some foggy conditions to try and make some misty woodland images. So stick around and I'll show you how I made these images, and I'll also give you some hints and tips for what I look out for when I'm doing woodland photography, and also a couple of tips on how to overcome some of the problems which foggy conditions can present. Of course, the great benefit to shooting when it's foggy is things like this. It gives you a separation, so it's easier to isolate your subject because you don't have to worry about cluttered backgrounds or distracting details in the background. So simple shots, just looking for little isolated scenes where the mist is helping to give you some degree of separation, and the muted colours that are normally associated with foggy conditions as well. So another thing I'm going to try and work with today is we've got some of the trees are just starting to turn. I'm shooting this, it's still very early September, so autumn's not really kicked in yet, but we do have just a little hint of yellows and oranges in some of the trees, like this one for instance. Up against it with time, and I managed to walk in a big circle and end up back where I started. That's what happens when you go down paths you've never been down before. Right, retracing my steps. Right, what do you make of this? I like this fallen branch. You've got some lovely greens even though they're quite muted, and the light is just picking out this canopy of trees. My only problem is, yeah, that's better. My only problem was I had a young sapling there which was cutting into the foreground, but I like that. I think that's got a bit of potential, and thankfully because of the mist we are getting that degree of separation between the background, which is very cluttered, and this tree here and the fallen branch. I think this could well be the first shot of the morning. I'm shooting at f16 100 ISO, and that's taking a 2-second exposure, and I'm slightly underexposing, so the composition is from about here across and up to just above the tree line, so that we're getting that kind of warm glow of the brighter light above. Don't know if you'll see that, but that's on the back of the camera. Focused on the fallen branch, and just one single exposure, one single focus point. Yeah, took that first shot. always important to get the first shot on the camera. I'm just wandering around here now looking to see if there's any other potential compositions, because we have these trees as well. Right, this isn't funny, but I've just come back to the same point again. Third time here. I'm going round in circles in this mist. I'm going to walk further this time. Rather than be smart and try and cut through the trees, I'm going to walk until I get to a part that I know, and we'll take it from there. This mist is all going to be gone by the time I actually get a shot or two. Something just caught my eye. Yeah, I like that. This copse of trees and that fallen log in the foreground caught my eye. Probably about this spot, so that you can see the base of that tree there, which is a nice kind of orange colour and contrasts lovely with the muted greens and the slightly more vibrant green of that tree in the foreground. I'm going to try, yeah, something like this I think works. I'm not sure. I can't decide whether the best shot is in this direction or these trees here, but definitely utilising this foreground tree. Okay, another shot here. We have yet another fallen branch, but what's actually caught my attention here is obviously the layers of trees, but the glow that we're getting on these yellow leaves in the back. This camera may not be picking it up, but there's a beautiful kind of almost luminescent glow along the top of the trees. So I'm trying to capture that in the mist. Beautiful. Yeah, it was quite nice in there. I got a couple of shots up, hopefully. I hadn't really thought, but I was busy taking pictures of fallen trees, and I forgot to check for the hole that the tree left when it fell. Nearly ended up in one. Anyway, we're going to continue further down now. Right, here's an example of something I think makes a nice woodland image. Basically I've taken the shot from just above this little area of green here in this foreground tree, down, across, up, and including just below the line of where you start to see the sky. And what I like is you've got these trees going off in different directions. You've got one over there as well, kind of going off in this direction. You've got this beautiful forked trunk here with that little splash of colour beyond it. The whole thing's quite misty, quite ethereal, but we're still getting some nice foreground interest with these ferns, and then it tails off, it drops off as you look further into the image. I do like that, and again, because it's kind of backlit, these foreground leaves here and that little splash of colour there are kind of glowing, as is that mossy branch which is lying on the ground there. They're almost glowing, whereas the rest of the image is very subdued, very, very muted. But yeah, I like that. I've focused here on this foreground tree. I'm shooting at f/18, 3-second exposure at 100 ISO. That looks like it's a nice shot in the back of the camera. Time will tell. Yeah, see, this is the problem, isn't it, with kind of woodland photography. Even when you've got mist to help you out, you need to really be clear about what you're photographing. It's very easy just to snap off frame after frame and then get them back and be horribly disappointed with what you've shot. So I'd rather get it right before I hit the shutter. And that does look lovely, but I can't see the shot, I can't see the photograph in it. Yeah, with things like this, what I'm really looking for is one tree that stands out. You know, it's either maybe the colour or the shape or the texture on the bark, something that makes one tree stand out. And then I'll try and build a composition around that. Find a decent angle, find an interesting foreground, find an interesting background, all that sort of stuff. But the first thing, really, because, you know, all those trees pretty much look the same. So the eye's left wandering, thinking, what am I meant to be looking at here? Right, now here's an example of something a little bit different. Unfortunately, we pretty much lost the mist again. But that has a little bit of potential, I think, in terms of, at least there's a little bit of interest. We've also got a squirrel running around at the base of that tree. I don't know if you can see that. We could have done with that mist. I think we're definitely losing it. I'm going to move on. Basically, I just liked the little arch, almost corridor, made by these overhanging branches. Fairly straightforward shot. I've focused on this foreground tree. I'm shooting at f/18 at 100 ISO, and because it is still quite overcast and we may have lost the mist, but it's still quite dull, so it's taking an 8-second exposure. Again, fairly basic shot. Unfortunately, we have lost the mist though, which means the colours are becoming a little bit more saturated. so it doesn't quite have the same effect as we were getting earlier. I'm just thinking, what are the chances that I can't find that spot that I was at 3 times already? Because I need that to get access to the canal again. Well, I'll give it a go. Made it. So that's it for a bit of misty woodland photography in my local woods. Hope you enjoyed the video. Give us a little thumbs up if you did, and if you haven't already subscribed, then please hit subscribe to the channel. And in the meantime, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers, bye.